And we want to integrate the live events technical sector in regards to the relationship producers, promoters have with suppliers, and to drive a conversation here today to see, how it works for us as promoters and producers. My name is Rashid Lombard. As some of you know, I have some experience in dealing with the challenge of buying and using technical and events companies and services in South Africa. I also co-founded the Cape Town International Jazz Festival for 15 years of my fucking life. But I'm happy not to be here. So I can share all the state secrets openly. I'm going to ask 5 questions afterwards directed to me, and I'll move it over. We're going to be very quick. I don't want any lectures. We will rather lecture you to say the challenge, the pitfalls, and I think this is just observing that some of you are technical people, but aspirant promoters or promoters and producers already. So this is just like a fact-finding and information, state secrets. We're just going to take a minute to introduce yourselves in your professional capacity or your company, rather than, you're a runner or where you started as a runner. You're business people now, so just tell us where you stand. Starting company.
Hi, my name is Kavir. I'm the general manager of Pulse Radio. I've been coming to LATBC from the beginning, and I can tell you, from somebody who was a novice in this industry, who wasn't a musician, wasn't an artist, wasn't a promoter, kind of got involved, and just by being here and meeting people like Rashid and Brother Freddie, did actually start looking very fast about what is the potential of our industries.
Sorry, technical, just medium wave, please.
Yeah, so through that I created a media platform called Pulse, which basically tells our stories to the rest of the world, tells our African stories on a global platform. And we've observed how there's been massive shifts around the music industry, and being able to send that across. So yeah, look good.
Thank you. In the house.
Thank you. My name is Ambani Ramaru. I come from an organization called Interested Butterflies. So what we do, we develop and produce festivals in Limpopo. Most of them are annual, as well as developing the music and the value chain in the music with the idea of exporting the music or the South African talent to anywhere in the world. So thank you.
Sanbanani, how's everyone doing?
Yeah.
Cool. My name is Osmic Menoe, from a company called Ritual Media Group. We produced Back to the City Hip Hop International Festival. That's been 13 years ongoing. We also produced the South African Hip Hop Awards. We also produced the South African Hip Hop Museum, which is currently being built, and also just recently launched the South African Hip Hop Association. Yes, that's what we do.
Thank you, thank you. So, they say that to stay in the game and being able to sustain being a producer, promoter, you become an expert in dealing with dealing and managing risk. So what would you say is your major risk and challenges as a purchaser in respect of, if we look at the aspects of where you're buying? Production requirements, that's resources and skills, and availability and the cost. Competition from others in terms of events, venues, resources, skills, and what is available. You can just briefly address that. Start with you.
I think from the aspect of speaking on, let's say, the South African Hip Hop Awards and the Back to the City Hip Hop International Festival, I think the when we speak risk, it's always laying upfront capital, right? So it's a festival that's cost all these millions, laying out a good 80% of these millions in the hope that a sponsor with a contract that says they'll pay you half upfront, the money will come. It just never comes upfront, right? So what tends to happen is that I think that alone, that aspect alone, starts complicating everything because you speak about availability. So if you wanted the best of the best in the market and his charge is 500K for whatever reason.
That's a fucking problem.
Oh,
You don't tell my problems. Stick to the technical. But in terms of a line item on the budget is permanent. Technical production, staffing, insurance, storage.
yeah.
And it can be high. Sometimes the highest, second highest of the artists, the found experience. You experience that in terms of cost?
It's, well, in my field, which is the hip-hop people, which are currently the new divas, it becomes the highest. Because obviously if you've got a lineup of the top, 5-tier artists, that's already 2 billion rand. So it tends to be even sometimes a little bit even higher than technical, because your stage is fixed. Because obviously the smartest thing to always do is keep a supplier, especially if it's a supplier, it's a reliable one. So now, for instance, with the suppliers we work with, we've been with them for the last 13 years. So everyone understands to say, okay, cool, this is what's happening, this is the story. But obviously the one that will always fluctuate, and it never fluctuates by 10%, 15%, will always be the artist, because the same artist that you book in as an upstart, and you are the one helping him become popular, and he's charging you 5,000, and now he's popular after your festival, the next year, he's now 100,000.
It's called inflation.
Yeah, it's called.
It is what it is. Don't fuck with that. You don't say I made you famous. You don't want fame, you want money.
But you see that my biggest gripe in some of the conferences I speak to and some of these artists is that what a lot of people don't realize is that one of the reasons why festivals are dying is because of that problem specifically.
Exactly.
Right? Because you can project your future 20 years from now if you're doing a festival, because you know what
Can I
you're
touch you there? That's another subject.
Okay.
You talk about buying.
Well, for us in
Buying. Now you're going to sit and buy. You know the technical writers, you know the size of stage. You and there's 6, 7 companies.
yeah, I mean the challenge.
Either in your city or in Limpopo, or you can export it out of Cape Town's a long fucking way. Or Gauteng. How do you deal with it?
Yes.
Well, we actually do not, when we seek for that technical supply, we wouldn't really go in Johannesburg and so forth, because what we do has a lot to do with local content. But then in doing that, try to empower the locals and the upcoming ones. The challenges you come across the unreliable supply, unprofessional people, or you come to an agreement, but also when it comes to cost and pricing, they start taking advantage of you to say, I have the best gear. Within this community we need to develop, there isn't a competitor per se. So you either have to compromise and say, okay, I'll pay the price. Some, as the previous speaker said, they would bring and set up a system and say 20% I can't make the show happen until you give me 20%. So you have to take a risk of paying them upfront. Either they give you a person who's not professional in terms of delivering the engineering and so forth, as well as maybe not setting up on time and so forth. So those are basically the challenges.
That's from the financial side, that is like behind the scene that when you negotiate. But let's leave that.
Yeah, definitely.
But you say not on time. So in terms of the standard of equipment for technical writers, both if it's South African or African artists or international of your supplier, do you find that they can deliver?
Yes, in that regard they do. They have the best in most of the cases.
Kavir, that's also doing more electronic
Yeah,
So you don't
if
need
we
a
find
backline.
in the electronic space, I think it's often, you're buying from who you know. That's often the first case. So looking for new suppliers is something that you can only get to if you're going out there, if you're attending other people's events and functions and seeing what they're doing and who's doing good work. But I think the most important part about buying is that it needs to be a very mutual benefit. Ideally at times you may not take the best, but take a supplier that you're able to work together with, develop a model where you're both meeting each other's goals and helping each other's businesses grow. I think that model is a lot more effective, particularly around skills development and transfer of knowledge. And that collaboration is more what I think is needed across our industries, and particularly not just music genres, but across different sectors in this country, in the creative industries.
Okay. So, what's your take on the South African event, technical resources as in 2019? With the event as Kavir? Looking at availability, standard of equipment, is it all bins, and also the skills, because it's through skills and trained people that these events are successful.
I mean, look, I think definitely skills are there. I mean, with organizations such as Sarah in existence, studying, kids from young, and I think definitely those are there. But I think the tricky thing, large-scale events in terms of technical and suppliers, unfortunately, is that there's still 4 or 3 companies that have cornered the market, and unfortunately, those are still the white companies, right? So you find a lot of times that you definitely want to give an opportunity to a young, black, up-and-coming company, but to buy that, that screen that costs X amount of money is sometimes a bit impossible to him. So which also makes, I think, the whole empowering aspects also becomes a bit scaly at that.
It's a general thing in terms of business in general. But I think something to work towards. Let's just, Morten, how do your take on maybe when you gave a good example of how you partnered with a manufacturing production supplier, and you became a guinea pig. Did anything go fucking wrong? Not 40, but all of a sudden these bins are popping in.
So have you heard about an artist called Eminem?
Yeah, well, of course.
Large American rap guru. First time he set foot in Denmark was in 2018, last year. So we produced this concert the way I was. We tested facilities the day before. So on the day there was a Danish warm-up act playing before Eminem. Everything was great. The entire field was covered. Showtime came for Eminem. His sound guy started playing 92 decibels, which is really low, and nobody could hear it, which then created a difference front to back on the entire field. There was actually maybe upwards to 80,000 attending the concert, which created a push towards the stage. And I don't know, Joanna, if you were at the concert at Roskilde in 2000. I think you were there somewhere. All right. But in 2000 there was a horrible accident at the Roskilde Festival. 7 people died in front of the stage because there was no barriers. So we learned a whole lot to do about barriers and security. So that was my concern actually with the Eminem show. So we luckily
It's unpredictable.
forced him to turn it off.
It's unpredictable. But also, I'm just going back to the same question in terms of 2019, with your own experience about service delivery of resources. What was your own experience? And also, added to that, in the event that there is a glitch or something, does the production house, the supplier, have backup, a plan B?
Well, I want to just to add on the issue of the skills, probably, that I still doubt that we have the highest skills to be able to deliver the best technology in terms of technical services. Because when you host events, you actually cross your fingers to say it must happen right. you know, one time you just get it right. Everything is just on the spot, you know. But the next time you hire from the same company, say, stage the same thing because of the service, and this time it just goes wrong.
So what you're saying is that the vision of the South African Roadies Association and this conference is critical in order to fill the gap, you say that?
Very much so, very much so.
The gap is a market there.
Yes, yes. Because, I mean, the issue is you may find very few who are very good at what they do, but the price they come with is very high. So we may want to develop bankable skills at any level so that you're able to know that this is bankable, because otherwise the show just goes wrong. You know, I mean, one show we did, I mean, we hosted a very big event in actual fact, it was here in Pretoria. I mean, when the big group was performing, I mean, the sound just went out of hand, and people started, I mean, one by one started leaving. I mean, the rest of the artists did not perform. Now, when you go to the sound company and say, what happened? I mean, they don't take the blame, they don't take responsibility. So I think this organization has a big role to play in terms of making sure that the skill is there and forced at every level, so that we can be able to get real for money.
Passing on information.
Yes.
Well, I think Joe brought it up earlier about transfer of skills. And of
Yes.
course, from a South African perspective, the early slogan of COSAS was each one teach one.
Yes.
Demystify the whole thing about discipline. So do you think, have you ever thought of buying your own equipment and own pieces to own it? We'll start with Rashid, you know, Rashid, because
If Rashid wants to buy their own gear, so the way...
you probably know, but why?
Yeah, but the way that the vessel works is, since it's a non-profit, the non-profit cannot own anything. So it basically closes down every year. So it's a one-year status, but they have a production company that owns some of the gear, some of the stages, stage equipment, stuff like that. But I believe that the service and the maintenance and stuff would be too much of a task to do.
Osmic, when you do quite a number of events, in particular with your awards, take your awards for example. It's a leading awards event.
So at some point we did entertain buying the whole equipment, because obviously through not DAC, through DTI, there's the funding where you can buy equipment and so forth and so on. But the problem was that it becomes a little bit of a futile exercise to be buying all this equipment, because the cost of keeping it becomes a little bit too high, because now you've got all this sound and trust, and now you must store it, now you need security, now you need insurance. But we're not a staging company, we are a eventing company.
Yeah.
So
what's your core business?
there we go. So,
Define it.
yeah. So
it's
it's
not from there. We stick to what we do best.
That's it.
Thank you. Kavir?
Yeah, I think, again, if you can find the service provider who's got that skill set and they're reliable and you believe in their values and their goals, then why go do it yourself? Focus on what you're good at. I think we are struggling to find reliable suppliers that are implementing transformation, and that's where SORA and this conference in particular plays an important role of bringing us together to find those people, and through this space I've definitely found that.
Thank you. I like the short and sweet. Chief. Have you thought about?
Yes, we have. I think we share the same sentiments with the rest of the team about it.
Okay. I'm going to the last questions now because we're wrapping up. In 1 minute, what's your impression and thought to leave something behind for this audience in the future in terms of the conference, technicians? And I'm glad a lot of people spoke that we must drop the word roadie. Because my other colleagues said he thought he's a fucking driver. Not fixing fucking roads. Let's upgrade. Upgrade cars. What message would you like to give? Just in terms of you being a buyer and you want quality and maybe how your festival could assist in the further development, because it's a theory and a practical.
Well, I can add that I strongly believe in people. I strongly believe in giving them the chance that was discussed yesterday as well, and providing them a safe space of learning on the job, at the festival, and also trusting people to be able to fail, but not setting them up to fail, as you said, Carl. So setting them up to actually excel if they are motivated to do so is the most important thing we can do. So don't ever put out the fire, the passion inside of them, trying to provide a space for them.
Osmic?
Yes, sir. I think team is the most important thing. For instance, all these things that I think we've achieved over the years have everything to do with the team. And I think investing in their skill as well, you know, getting them to have sort of an open-minded approach to everything. And I think also when it comes to technical, you know, build up with that company that you're working with. So don't, you know, the other year you're changing your graphics guy, the other year you know, sort of stick to the same team. And I think most importantly is also projecting your future to say, at this point in time, this is a scale that I want to work with, right? Because it's always about scalability to say, if I'm starting here, in X amount of time, I'm trying to see this thing at this scale, and what does it take? And you start with all those people right there so that the whole team understands the vision from the onset. And money is important as well.
Always.
Yeah, for me, I would like to Sarah. I think it's very important to then expand from here to every town, every municipality, every local government, and create capacity to be able to handle small to big events, right? To a point when we can get to accreditation stage. You know, because I mean, if we're talking about currently the policy, South African government policy, that's talking about transformation, localization, and all that. We may not be able to achieve very much if then this SAR does not go to the people and empower them to be able to be at this level, which is international. So I would want to say, we may want to expand as an organization and have real capacitating programs to capacitate any other person elsewhere within the country.
So don't you think that you're in a better position to present to government? We don't trust them, they don't know. They're not specialists, we're specialists.
Definitely, yes.
Don't you think it's better if you then say, this is the kind of policy you should be looking at? You must remember in terms of training, and I know from experience, as long as if you're getting 10 and you spend 4 on training and development, especially of personnel, it works. Even the corporate, they like to see that. In particular, that we're looking at job creation now and employment of youth. So, do you think they listen to you?
Yes, I do think that Sarah, also with arts and culture, maybe it's the time to strengthen the bonds, you know, and I do know that they're going towards the process of training and making a lot of emphasis on training, and I think that should be important and a very important point of discussion, you know, and any other organization that can affiliate and become a partner at that local government level and be able to implement this, for sure, Sarah will be able to drive that. And I believe they should be able to support, and we can be able to support the same.
But I think individually we must just be part of what we do.
Yes.
We don't have time for, you know, we say collective, another organization again. Fuck, we need to talk forever. It's for every individual to approach it that way. And, you know, 25 years of democracy, hey, we saw Pekingese, man, you know, it's no big deal that we've got time to go.
Just to throw my last, I'm saying
There's a
maybe
mic,
she
there's
should
a
be a
mic.
champion.
There's a mic.
I'm saying maybe Sarah must be a champion of that,
Okay.
you know, and then individuals are able to participate to support that. Because otherwise, we won't have one vision, we'll just be all over the place.
And it's great now with Sarah, we can, I hope not, you don't have to toy any longer. We can just walk up to the office and say, they listen to us. Kavir?
Yeah, I think you hit so many points on that, is that, you know, firstly the room at the CIS conference, I mean, so many new faces, which is great, that, you know, we can't leave it just up to policy and government. I mean, just looking at this election, you know, which party stood out for just the policy for the creative industries. And I think at the end of the day, it comes up to us as individuals to corporatize ourselves, like you've always said, and to be the part and parcel of that job creation process of teaching young people and upskilling them. And that's the big journey I'm on now, is mentoring that and doing the each one, teach one principles. And in it, what we're finding is that all of a sudden government is approaching us, or they're engaging us because we have the solutions for, you know, exactly what their mandate should be. And at the end of the day, though, you know, you've got to keep doing it
Can
for
you
yourself.
share their solutions? I think a lot of people are interested.
Would you share it?
Yeah.
I think if you've got the right model and you have the right positions in your supply chain, and that's with collaboration with very strategic partners who are really good at what they do, is that it becomes a model that
I'm just hold it there because I bring me now because we got time. But maybe you could share it on another platform through Sarah, because I think it's good if we know that. But because everyone works differently, you model those wording and approach differently.